All right, all praise, glory, and honor is most certainly due to the Most High, the God of the patriarchs Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and peace to you in the name of His Son. I count it truly a blessing each and every single time that I'm before you to preach the word. God, never do I count it as a light thing to do so. Our brothers and sisters, the title of today's message is "Watch the Company You Keep." Watch the company you keep. And I'm watching what's going on in the world, particularly in the United States. As I said yesterday or last night, that as the country burns, you're seeing it happen for reasons that I think I'm going to come out with something that kind of breaks some of this stuff down. So because people are being deceived and they're going out here and protesting and protesting for people who they've been misinformed about. Let me say it like that. A lot of these situations, you've been given a lot of lies. And so you go and protest, you go and not just protest, you go and riot, you burn up stuff, and you go to bat for people who you shouldn't necessarily go to bat for. And I think I'm gonna bring that out in the next day or so. And in addition, you have people as a result getting killed. Sometimes, peace you, Brother Leo, because of the company that they keep. You know, when your mother told you, hey, you can't hang out with him, you can't hang out with her, why? They're a bad influence. The Bible tells you the same thing. The Bible tells you, watch the company you keep, because the company you keep can ultimately get you in trouble. Let's pick it up in Proverbs, the 4th chapter. And let's see what here Solomon says, who we should avoid. Proverbs, the 4th chapter, and verse 14 says, enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. So you shouldn't go the same way or be around them. It says, avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it, and pass away. Because he tells you the characteristics of these people. He says, for they sleep not except they have done mischief. So it's like they can't sleep, they can't have rest unless they've done something wicked. It says, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall. So unless they brought some devastation or destruction to some people, something don't sit right with them. And if you get in line with them and get attached to them, now you in error. Now, unfortunately, you're seeing a lot of stuff happen right now because people are being connected to people that they shouldn't be, perhaps. And you can get killed that way. You can get in trouble that way. This is verse 17. For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. Okay, so that's their characteristic. Okay. He goes on to say, but the path of the just is as a shining light, and that shineth more and more unto the perfect day. See, that's the path of the righteous. The way of the wicked is as darkness. They know not at what they stumble. And if you go that way, you will stumble. Let's go to 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter. So you need to watch the company that you keep. 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter. Let's pick it up at verse 33. Here Paul writes to the congregation of Corinth in his first epistle. He said, be not deceived. Evil communications corrupt good manners. The word communications here is company. So he says, be not deceived. Evil company, he used the word communications, corrupts good manners. Manners is morals. So if you're around people that are doing evil and wickedness, eventually you are going to engage in that, or it's likely that you will. I'm not saying having a conversation. I'm talking about keeping company with these people. Let's look at another example of where Paul says he says something similar about a specific situation. in the congregation at Corinth in chapter 5, he said it's reported commonly that there's fornication among you. Yeah, he was talking about within the congregation. That shouldn't be. He scolded them about and asked them, how are you indifferent? How have you not put this one from among you? It was one, he was even dealing with his father's wife. But now let's pick it up in in this 1 Corinthians, the 5th chapter, in the same chapter. Let's pick it up in verse 11 and see something that he said. He said, but now have I written unto you not to keep company if any man that is called a brother. Let's pick it up in verse 9, excuse me. I wrote unto you in an epistle not to company with fornicators. Okay? So he shouldn't, meaning he said, yet not altogether with the fornicators of this world, or with the covetous, or extortioners, or with idolaters, for them must ye needs go out of the world. But now I have written unto you not to keep company if any man that is called a brother be a fornicator, or a covetous, or an idolater, or a railer, or a drunkard, or an extortioner. With such and one know not to eat. So they shouldn't be in the congregation. How they gonna be in the congregation and everybody be righteous? They're gonna breed sin. No, can't do it. You can't do it. You have to remove them. But Proverbs, the 13th chapter. Proverbs, the 13th chapter. You have to be very careful about the people you associate with and hook yourself up to, because they might be doing wrong, and therefore you get hooked up with them. Now you're in the wrong with them. You see it all the time. People, you with somebody, they go into the liquor store, going to the convenience store. They come out with a bag and a gun. You like, what's going on? And they drive. We got a situation. What's this weed? Well, you knew that he was about that life. You knew that he was a stick-up man. Why you with him? You understand what I'm saying? This is Proverbs the 13th chapter, and this is not me saying preaching the gospel to people. This is about being hooked up with people in certain situations that you don't have any business being hooked up with. Somebody needs some help as far as some food or some money. Yeah, you can give it to them if you got it. That's not what I'm saying. But, when they dealing in wickedness and you being right along with them, you shouldn't do that. Proverbs, the 13th chapter and verse 20. He says, he that walketh with wise men shall be wise. See, who you hang around says something about you too. So, you will be wise if you hang around wise people. What y'all gonna be doing? Wise things. It's like if you hanging around a bunch of people who do dope all the time, or sell drugs, or murder people, or steal, eventually, if that's all your company, you keep hanging around with them, eventually that's what you start to do. He said, he that walketh with wise men shall be wise. But then he tells you the result of dealing with people who are not wise. He says, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. A companion of fools shall be destroyed. If you with somebody that's always doing something stupid, you gonna catch the brunt of that. It's really simple. This is the last place. Psalms, the 1st chapter, 1st division. Psalms 1. Psalms 1. Be careful who you hang with. And be careful who you go to bat for. Psalms, the 1st chapter, verse 1. He says here, because we're going to see ultimately the result of, you have two directions to go, brothers and sisters. You can go in the path of righteousness or in the path of the ways of sinners. He tells you what's going to happen with both. Verse 1, he said, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. So your company shouldn't be the wicked if you're righteous. You'll be blessed if you avoid their company. You see them go the other way. Again, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. So you meditating in the law day and night, and you delighting in the law. That's what I'm thinking here. and see something about the law. We still in Psalms. He says in Psalms, the 19th chapter, in verse 7, he says, the law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. He says, the fear of the verse 9, the fear of, or verse 8, the statutes of the Lord are right, rejoicing in the eyes, righteous. That's what he means by right. The commandment of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of the Lord is clean, enduring forever. The judgments of the Lord are true and righteous. Altogether, more to be desired are they than gold, yea, than much fine gold, sweeter also than honey and the honeycomb. Moreover, by them is thy servant warned, and in keeping of them is great reward. So that's going to be your meditation. Not on how you can get over on somebody, how you can take advantage of somebody, how you can hurt somebody, bring violence unto somebody, but rather your meditation is in the law. And that doesn't go with somebody who is steeped in sin, and that be your company. You going out in union with them. Peace to you, brother Tavion. It's good to see you there, brother. To go do wickedness. So he says, who can understand his errors? Cleanse thou me from secret faults. Keep back thy servant also from presumptuous sins. Let them not have dominion over me. Then shall I be upright, and I shall be innocent from the great transgression. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my Redeemer. Let's go to another place pertaining to the law, because that's what the righteous man is going to be focused on. That's what the wise man, the truly wise man, is focused on. Peace to you, brother Eminem. Let's go to Psalms 119th division, because this is to be desired. Psalms 119 and verse 1, it says, blessed are the undefiled in the way who walk in the law of the Lord. So that's who's going to be blessed. Peace to you, brother Tony. It's good to see you there, brother. He tells you about the meditation of it in Psalms 119 and 97. He said, oh, how love I thy law. It is my meditation all the day. So that's what he's meditating in the law of God. That's what the righteous man will do. So now back to Psalms 1:1. It said, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly. Again, watch the company you keep. Nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. Hold our finger here. Let's hold our finger here. Let's see something that Jeremiah said. He said something about his walks. Jeremiah, the 15th chapter, verse 15. He said, O Lord, thou knowest, remember me and visit me and revenge me of my persecutors. Take me not away in thy long suffering. Know that for thy sake I have suffered rebuke. So that's his testimony, that he has suffered, that he has been persecuted because of the Lord's name's sake, because he brought the message to the people in the name of the Lord, and they rejected him and they abused him. He says, thy words were found and I did eat them, and thy word was unto me the joy and rejoicing of mine heart, for I am called by thy name, O Lord God of hosts. Then he says something. Then he said something about his walk. He said, I sat not in the assembly of the mockers, nor rejoiced. I sat alone because of thy hand, for thou hast filled me with indignation. Sometimes you have to walk alone. I realized that in my own life, coming into the knowledge of his word, I realized something very important, is that for my own benefit, I couldn't even hang around the people that I had been hanging around with. I couldn't rock with the people I had been rocking with for my own benefit because of the things that they were involved in and that I became involved in being around them. So I had to do what? I had to go it alone. I had to sever those ties. Why? For my own benefit. I had to go it alone. Sometimes you have to walk alone. Sometimes you got to walk alone. You might have to sever some ties with friends and comrades. If you hanging with a motley crew, you might have to sever some ties. You might have to walk alone. People say, well, you changed, though you're not the same. Absolutely. That don't mean I don't have love for you. Don't mean I won't help you in a time of need. But one thing, I can't be around you if you engaged in this type of behavior. I just can't do it for my own benefit, because I don't want to fall back into the muck and the mire of a sinful life. I don't want to be like one that is like the dog that's turned back to the vomit. I don't want to do that. So Psalms 1:1 says, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. Even if that means, like Jeremiah, he said, I'm alone. I did it alone. You might have to do it alone. What's his delight? He said, but his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. We see what David said about the law and the benefit of the law. It is even the law, like I understood in my own life, it is the law that will come. Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way? It is through the law. Statutes, ordinances, judgments, commandments, Torah, mitzvah. That's what will convert you unto righteousness. So it said, and he gives you the benefit for this. He said, and he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. See, a tree by the water don't have to worry about getting water for the roots and being nourished from the waters of the river. It's called thrive. It says, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. The ungodly are not so. Let's hold our finger here. Let's hold our finger here and read something else. Let's see, Genesis, the 39th chapter. I want to read one verse here, verse 1. Genesis 39:1. Let's read about Joseph, who we know was a righteous man. Now, prior to being lied upon, it says something about Joseph. In verse 1, it says, and Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, bought him of the hands of the Ishmaelites, because he was sold by his own brethren. They were jealous of him. They sold him. And you read the Bible, it says the shackles, they hurt him. That were on him. He was sold as a slave. His own brother sold him as a slave. So it says now, and the Lord was with Joseph, though. The Lord was with Joseph, verse 2, and he was a prosperous man, and he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian. And his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made all that he did to what? To prosper in his hand. Peace to everybody that's listening. Good to see you there. So he says in verse 3 of Psalms 1 and 3, and he shall be like, talking about the righteous man, and he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. See, but what about the ungodly? The ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff or the chaff which the wind driveth away. Therefore, the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment. What does it mean? It won't be able, the unrighteous won't be able to stand. The unrighteous won't be able to stand in the time of judgment. They will be cast into the lake of fire for their deeds. Therefore, the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. So that's where you want to be. It said, for the Lord knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. That's the way of the ungodly. So you don't want to keep company with the ungodly, because you'll start to engage in the actions of the ungodly, thus becoming ungodly, and the ungodly shall perish. The ungodly shall be driven away. The ungodly shall be cast into the lake of fire, where the worm died not and the fire is not quenched. And with that, brothers and sisters, I want to remind you that we at the Household of Faith, we meet every Sabbath, which is Saturday, at 5925 West 25th Avenue in Gary, Indiana, at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. We are open. We live stream right here on the Israel Teach YouTube channel, as well as on our website, www.israelteach.org. If you've been edified through the ministry and would like to leave a donation, you can do so on our website. Again, www.israelteach.org, ISRAELTEACH. We also have Bible study tomorrow. It's every Friday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time on Zoom. We have Bible study every Friday night at Central Standard Time on Zoom. The personal meeting ID number for that is 602-961-1318. Okay? 602-961-1318. Come with your questions. Come to fellowship. Come to learn. Come to be edified. And finally, brothers and sisters, there are books that I've written that are available on Amazon and other places where books are sold. Into Egypt Again with Ships. This is Killing Black Innocents, the program to control African American reproduction from slavery's end to the present day self-inflicted genocide. The Pagan Origins of Christian Holidays. Hair Like Wool, Feet Like Burned Brass, The Color of Jesus, The Burning Truths Concerning the Messiah. Latest books, For This Shall Be Great Tribulation and In Defense of Biblical Polygyny. All these books are available, again, on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and other places where books are sold. And with that, brothers and sisters, peace. Brother Leo, Brother Temion, Eminem, Brother Tony's good to see you, Sister Jennifer, Laws, and peace to you, brother. Peace, and peace to everybody that's listening. It's always my prayer that you will edify. Remember Bible study tomorrow night.